Here is a number that should make every retiree stop and pay attention. Researchers estimate that Americans collectively leave billions of dollars in unclaimed Social Security benefits on the table every single year. Not because the money is not there, not because people do not qualify, but because the Social Security Administration does not advertise its own best-kept secrets. The cashier at your local SSA office will not mention them. The automated phone system will not flag them. And the standard retirement pamphlets the government mails out? They barely scratch the surface. The people who get the most out of Social Security are the ones who knew what to ask for before they ever sat down across from an agent. Today, we are giving you that exact information. 15 Social Security secrets the government never advertises. And number 5 is the one that most financial advisors charge hundreds of dollars to explain. Let us get into it. Here is the first secret, and it applies to millions of married Americans who are collecting Social Security right now without knowing they could be collecting more. If your spouse has a higher Social Security benefit than you do, you may be entitled to receive up to 50% of their full retirement amount, even if you never worked a single day in your life. That is not a loophole. That is a legal benefit written directly into the Social Security Act, and the SSA will not call you to let you know it exists. Most people find out about it years too late, if they find out at all. Here is how it works. If your spouse is already receiving Social Security and you are at least 62 years old, you can apply for what is called a spousal benefit. Under current SSA rules, that spousal benefit can be as high as 50% of your spouse's full retirement benefit amount. Not 50% of whatever they happen to be collecting, but 50% of what they were entitled to at their full retirement age. That distinction matters, and it is one the SSA will not walk you through on their own. Let's put real numbers on it. If your spouse receives $2,400 a month in Social Security benefits, your spousal benefit could be as high as $100 a month. That is $14,400 a year in additional household income, money you are legally owed and may never have applied for simply because nobody told you to. Now here is the part that catches a lot of people off guard. This benefit is never automatic. The SSA will not look at your household situation and start sending a second check. You have to apply. You have to show up, either in person at your local SSA office, by phone, or online at ssa.gov, and specifically request the spousal benefit. The rules also require that you have been married for at least 1 year and that your spouse has already filed for their own Social Security benefits before you can claim on their record. The best move is straightforward. Call your local SSA office or dial 1-800-772-12243 and say exactly this. I would like to apply for spousal benefits on my partner's Social Security record. 9 times out of 10, that single sentence starts a process that could add hundreds of dollars a month to your household income. It costs nothing to ask, and the potential upside is significant. One more thing worth knowing. If your own Social Security benefit, based on your personal work record, is higher than 50% of your spouse's benefit, the SSA will pay you the higher of the two. They will not stack both amounts. But if your own benefit is lower, they will top it up to match the spousal amount. Either way, you want to have that conversation with SSA so you know exactly where you stand. And if you think the spousal benefit is a surprise, the next secret is for people who are divorced. And it is the one that genuinely shocks most people when they hear it. Most people assume that divorce ends any financial connection to their ex-spouse's Social Security record. It does not. Not even close. Under current SSA rules, if you were married to someone for at least 10 years and you are currently unmarried, you may be entitled to claim Social Security benefits based on your ex-spouse's work record, even if that marriage ended decades ago, even if you have not spoken to that person in 30 years, even if they have since remarried someone else entirely. Here is the part that genuinely surprises people. Your ex-spouse is never notified that you filed. Their benefit is never reduced by a single dollar because you claimed on their record. The SSA handles it completely independently. You claiming what you are owed has zero effect on what they receive. None. The eligibility rules are straightforward. You must have been married for at least 10 years. You must currently be unmarried. Both you and your ex must be at least 62 years old. And your ex must already be eligible to receive Social Security, meaning they have enough work credits on their record, even if they have not started collecting yet. If all of those boxes are checked, you have a legitimate claim, and the SSA will not reach out to tell you that. Let's put real numbers on this. If your ex-spouse's full retirement benefit is $2,200 a month, you could be entitled to up to $1,100 a month in divorced spousal benefits. That is $13,200 a year in income you may have been walking past without knowing it existed. Now, here is a detail worth paying close attention to. If your own Social Security benefit, based on your personal earnings record, is higher than 50% of your ex's benefit, the SSA will pay you the higher amount. They will not combine both. But if your own benefit is lower, they bring you up to the divorced spousal amount. Either way, you need to have the conversation to know which scenario applies to you. The best move is to call the SSA directly at 1-800-772-1213 or visit your local SSA office and say exactly this. I would like to find out if I qualify for divorced spousal benefits on my former spouse's record. That is the sentence that starts the process. You do not need your ex's permission. You do not need their Social Security number to make the initial inquiry. You just need to ask. Under current SSA rules, your local office processes these applications, and wait times can vary depending on the office and time of year. Calling ahead to schedule an appointment rather than walking in is always the smarter move. And if you never married, or if your spouse has passed away, the next secret covers something that even fewer people know about, and the dollar amounts involved are even larger. When a spouse passes away, the surviving partner is often entitled to receive 100% of the deceased spouse's Social Security benefit. 100%. Not a partial amount. Not a reduced version. The full monthly check, yours for the rest of your life. But here is where the SSA stays very quiet, and where getting the timing wrong can cost you thousands of dollars a year for decades. Survivor benefits come with a critical rule that most people never hear about until it is too late. If you claim your survivor benefit early, starting as young as age 60, the SSA permanently reduces the amount you receive. Claiming at 60 instead of waiting until your full retirement age can cut your monthly survivor benefit by as much as 28%. That reduction does not go away after a few years. It is locked in for life. Here is the number that puts that in perspective. If your deceased spouse's full benefit was $2,000 a month and you claim survivor benefits at age 60, you may receive closer to $1,440 a month instead. That is a difference of $560 every single month, or $6,720 every single year for as long as you live. On a 20-year retirement, that gap adds up to more than $134,000 in lost income. But here is the secret inside the secret, and this is the part the SSA almost never explains up front. You do not have to claim your survivor benefit and your own personal Social Security benefit at the same time. You can claim one first, let the other one grow, and then switch. If your own benefit will be larger at age 70 than your survivor benefit is now, you can collect the survivor benefit starting at 60 to bring in income immediately, while your own benefit continues growing at 8% per year in the background. Then at 70, you switch to your own record and collect the higher amount for the rest of your life. Or, if the survivor benefit will ultimately be the larger of the two, you can claim your own benefit first at 62 to cover your expenses, and delay switching to the survivor benefit until you reach full retirement age, locking in the unreduced, full 100% amount. This strategy has a name. Ask the SSA specifically about a restricted application strategy for survivor benefits when you call. Those words matter. Using the right terminology signals to the agent that you know what you are asking about, and it typically results in a much more useful conversation. Under current SSA rules, disabled widows and widowers may be able to claim survivor benefits as early as age 50, which is a separate provision that applies in specific circumstances. If that situation applies to you or someone you know, it is worth a direct call to the SSA to find out. The bottom line is this: if you have lost a spouse, and you have not yet contacted the SSA to discuss your survivor benefit options, you may be leaving a significant amount of money unclaimed. Call 1-800-772-1213 and ask them to walk you through your survivor benefit scenarios at different claiming ages. That one phone call could shape your financial picture for the rest of your life. And if you think the survivor benefit timing trap is the most misunderstood rule in Social Security, the next secret is one that working seniors get wrong every single day, and it involves a twist most people never see coming. A lot of people assume that once you start collecting Social Security, earning too much from a job will permanently cost you, that the money is simply gone. Here is what the SSA does not put on the front page of their website. Under current SSA rules, if you claim Social Security before your full retirement age and you continue working, the SSA does apply an earnings limit. For 2024, that threshold is approximately $20,320 per year. For every $2 you earn above that limit, the SSA withholds $1 of your Social Security benefit. So if you earn $10,000 over the limit in a given year, the SSA withholds $5,000 from your checks. They do it quietly, often by temporarily suspending your monthly payments, and they do not send a letter explaining exactly what is happening or why. That is the part most people know, and it is the part that causes a lot of retirees to either stop working entirely or feel penalized for staying active. But here is the twist that the SSA almost never volunteers. The money they withheld is not lost. It comes back. Once you reach your full retirement age, which is 66 or 67 depending on the year you were born, the SSA recalculates your benefit upward to account for every month they withheld payments. In practical terms, your monthly check increases permanently to credit you for the benefits that were temporarily held back. The SSA calls this an adjusted benefit recalculation, and it happens automatically. But automatically does not mean transparently. Most people never see it coming, and many do not even realize it happened. Here is what that looks like in real numbers. Say the SSA withheld $6,000 from your checks over 2 years because you were still working part-time. When you hit full retirement age, your monthly benefit gets recalculated upward to reflect those withheld months. The increase is modest each month, but it is permanent, and over a 10 or 15-year retirement, it adds up to real money returned to you. There's also a separate rule worth knowing for the calendar year in which you actually reach full retirement age. In that specific year, the earnings limit rises significantly to roughly $59,520, and the withholding ratio changes to $1 for every $3 earned over the limit, not $2. So the closer you are to full retirement age, the more flexibility you actually have to keep working without a major impact on your checks. If you have had earnings withheld in past years, and you are not sure whether your benefit was recalculated correctly, contact the SSA directly and ask them to walk you through your adjusted benefit recalculation based on your earnings history. That phrase will get you the right conversation. The SSA collects the withheld money quietly. They do not announce when they give it back. Knowing to ask is the difference between accepting a smaller check and understanding what you are actually owed. But if you think the earnings limit is the most misunderstood rule in Social Security, wait until you hear the next one, because this is the secret that was teased at the very beginning, and it is the one with the single largest potential dollar impact of anything on this list. Remember at the very start when we said one of these secrets would change the entire way you think about Social Security? This is the one. 8%. Every single year. Under current SSA rules, for every year you delay claiming Social Security past your full retirement age, up to age 70, your monthly benefit grows by 8%. That is called the delayed retirement credit, and it is one of the most powerful and most ignored financial strategies available to American retirees. The SSA does not put it on a billboard. Your neighbors are probably not talking about it. But the people who know about it and use it are collecting significantly more money every month for the rest of their lives. Here is how it works. Your full retirement age is either 66 or 67, depending on the year you were born. If you claim at exactly that age, you receive 100% of your calculated benefit. But if you wait, just wait, without doing anything else, your benefit grows by 8% for each additional year you hold off, up to age 70. That gives you a maximum growth window of 3 to 4 years, depending on your birth year. Think about that for a second. If your full retirement age benefit is $2,000 a month and you delay claiming until age 70, that same benefit becomes $2,640 a month. That is an extra $640 every single month, not for a few years, but for the rest of your life. Over the course of a year, that difference is $7,780. Over a 10-year retirement, you are looking at $76,800 in additional income simply for waiting. And here is the stacking reality that makes this even more significant. The larger your base benefit, the more valuable 8% per year actually is in dollar terms. If your calculated benefit at full retirement age is $3,000 a month instead of $2,000, delaying to 70 brings that to $3,160. A monthly difference of $960, or $11,520 more per year, every year for life. The higher your benefit, the more every single percentage point of growth is worth. Now the fair question is, what about the money you missed out on by not claiming early? There is a break-even point, and it lands at roughly 12 years past the age you started receiving the higher amount. Meaning if you delay to 70 and live past 82, you will have collected more in total than if you had claimed at 67. According to the Social Security Administration's own actuarial data, the average American who reaches age 65 lives well into their mid-80s. Most people who delay to 70 come out ahead. That said, this is not the right move for everyone. If you have serious health concerns, if you need the income now to cover essential expenses, or if your financial situation does not allow you to wait, those are real factors that change the calculation. The strategy needs to fit your life. The best move is to ask the SSA to show you a personalized benefit estimate at 4 different claiming ages, 67, 68, 69, and 70, side by side. You can request this by calling 1-800-772-1213 or by logging into your account at ssa.gov, where the benefit estimator tool is free to use and takes about 10 minutes. Seeing those 4 numbers in a row and understanding what each one means per month for the next 20 years is the kind of information that changes decisions. Do not leave that money on the table because nobody explained the math. The delayed retirement credit is one of the clearest, most reliable ways to increase your Social Security income, and it requires nothing more than patience and a phone call. And the next secret shows you how married couples can stack this strategy with something most financial advisors charge hundreds of dollars to model, turning one good decision into 2. Most married couples assume they should both start claiming Social Security at roughly the same time. Maybe when the older spouse turns 67. Maybe when they both retire in the same year. It feels tidy. It feels logical. It is almost never the optimal move. Here is the strategy that most couples are leaving on the table, and it is one that a good financial planner would charge you several $100s to model. It is called staggered claiming, and when you combine it with the delayed retirement credit from the previous secret, the numbers become genuinely significant. The concept is straightforward. In most married households, one spouse has a meaningfully higher Social Security benefit than the other, based on their respective earnings histories. The lower earning spouse claims Social Security early, at 62, or at their full retirement age, to bring income into the household right away. The higher earning spouse delays claiming until age 70, letting their benefit grow at 8% per year the entire time. 2 different timelines. 2 very different outcomes. Here is why the higher earner's delay matters far beyond just their own monthly check. Under current SSA rules, the survivor benefit, the amount the remaining spouse receives after one partner passes away, is based on the deceased spouse's benefit amount. The higher that benefit is, the more the surviving spouse collects for the rest of their life. So when the higher earning spouse delays to 70 and locks in a permanently larger monthly amount, they are not just increasing their own income. They are building a financial safety net for whoever lives longer. Let's put real numbers on it. Say spouse A has a lower earnings record and claims at 62, receiving $200 a month. Spouse B has a stronger record, delays to 70, and receives $3,200 a month. If spouse B passes away first, spouse A's monthly benefit does not stay at $200. It rises to $3,200, the full survivor benefit based on spouse B's record. That is a difference of $2,000 a month, or $24,000 a year, for every year spouse A continues to live. If you have been collecting $200 a month, and suddenly you are entitled to $3,200, that is not a small adjustment. That is the difference between financial stress and financial stability in the years when you are most vulnerable. Now stack that with the spousal benefit strategy from earlier. While spouse B is delaying to 70, spouse A may also be eligible for a spousal benefit on spouse B's record, potentially more than their own reduced early benefit. The SSA will pay the higher of the two. That combination, early spousal benefit for the lower earner plus delayed claiming for the higher earner, is the kind of household-level optimization that most couples never discuss because nobody walked them through it. The best move is to contact the SSA or a Social Security-focused advisor and ask them specifically to model a staggered claiming scenario for your household. Bring both spouses' Social Security statements, which you can access for free at ssa.gov, and ask for benefit. Estimates at multiple claiming ages for each person. That conversation, which costs nothing at an SSA office, could be worth tens of thousands of dollars over the course of your retirement. If you have both been sitting on the same claiming timeline without running the numbers, you have been leaving real money on the table. The staggered approach is not complicated. It just requires knowing it exists. And the next secret is the one that gives people who already claim too early a genuine second chance. A reset button most Americans do not know the SSA even offers. A lot of people start collecting Social Security earlier than they planned, realize within months that the timing was wrong, and assume there is nothing they can do about it. That the decision is locked in permanently. It is not. Under current SSA rules, there is a little-known option called a withdrawal of application. If you filed for Social Security and changed your mind within the first 12 months of receiving payments, you can submit a request to withdraw your application entirely. You repay every dollar you received, with no interest and no penalty. And the SSA treats it as though you never filed at all. Your benefit clock resets. You walk away with a clean slate and the ability to claim later at a higher monthly amount. Here is what that looks like in real numbers. Say you claimed at 62 and started receiving $1,400 a month. After 10 months, you decide you made the wrong call. You repay approximately $14,000, the total you received, and withdraw your application. You then delay claiming until age 70 and receive $2,200 a month instead. Your break-even point on that repayment is roughly 6.5 years of the higher check. After that, every additional month is pure gain. The form you need is called SSA 521. That is the request for withdrawal of application, and it is available directly from the SSA. You can ask for it by name when you call 1-800-772-13 or download it from ssa.gov. Most people have never heard of it. The SSA will not mention it unless you ask. But it exists, it is legitimate, and for someone who claimed too early and still has the financial ability to repay, it can be a significant course correction. Now, if you are past the 12-month withdrawal window but you have not yet reached age 70, there is a second option. It is called voluntary suspension. Once you have reached your full retirement age, you can contact the SSA and ask them to suspend your benefit payments. While your benefits are suspended, the delayed retirement credit kicks in. Your benefit grows by 8% per year, the same as if you had never claimed at all. You collect nothing during the suspension period, but every month that passes adds to the permanent monthly amount you will receive once you restart. One important caution on voluntary suspension. If you are enrolled in Medicare and you suspend your Social Security benefit, you may need to pay your Medicare Part B premium directly rather than having it automatically deducted from your check. Make sure to verify that with the SSA before you suspend, so there are no surprises with your Medicare coverage. The 12-month window on the withdrawal option closes faster than most people expect. If you filed recently and you have doubts about your timing, the most important thing you can do right now is call the SSA and ask about SSA 521 before that window runs out. It costs nothing to ask. And in the right situation, it could add hundreds of dollars a month to your income for the rest of your life. The final secret on this list is one that affects nearly everyone watching, and it involves a permanent financial penalty that the government quietly applies to people who miss a specific deadline. Most people do not even know the deadline exists until it is too late. Here is the secret that costs people the most money, not in Social Security benefits directly, but in a permanent penalty attached to the healthcare coverage that goes alongside them. A permanent penalty, not temporary, not something that phases out after a few years. Permanent. When you turn 65, you become eligible for Medicare. Specifically, you enter what the SSA calls your initial enrollment period, a 7-month window that begins 3 months before your 65th birthday and ends 3 months after it. If you do not sign up for Medicare Part B during that window, and you are not covered by qualifying employer-sponsored insurance, the government adds a 10% surcharge to your Part B premium for every 12-month period you were eligible but did not enroll. That surcharge is added to your premium for as long as you have Medicare. Not for a year or two, for life. Here is what that looks like in real numbers. The standard Medicare Part B premium in 2024 is approximately $174 a month. If you miss your enrollment window by 1 full year, your premium rises to roughly $101 a month. Miss it by 2 years, and it climbs to around $209 a month. That may not sound catastrophic in isolation, but multiply those extra dollars across a 20-year retirement, and you are looking at thousands of dollars in unnecessary costs. Costs that exist for no reason other than missing a deadline the government never reminded you about. There is an important exception worth knowing. If you are still working at 65 and covered by an employer's group health insurance plan, you may qualify for a special enrollment period that allows you to sign up for Medicare later without the penalty. But you need to verify this directly. Do not assume. The rules around what counts as qualifying coverage are specific, and getting it wrong is expensive. The best move is to call Medicare directly at 1-800-MEDICARE, that is 1-800-633-4227, and ask 2 questions. When does my initial enrollment period open, and do I qualify for a special enrollment period based on my current coverage situation? That 5-minute phone call could save you from a penalty that would otherwise follow you for the rest of your life. Now, before you head out and start making calls, here are 5 final tips that apply to everything we have covered today. First, almost every benefit and strategy on this list requires you to apply or ask. The SSA will not reach out to tell you that you qualify for a spousal benefit, a survivor benefit, a delayed retirement credit, or a withdrawal option. The system is set up so that the people who know what to ask for get more, and the people who wait to be told get less. Do not wait to be told. Second, check your Social Security earnings statement every single year. You can access it for free at ssa.gov by creating a My Social Security account. Your statement shows the earnings record the SSA is using to calculate your future benefit. If there is an error, a missing year of income, a number that does not match your actual wages, it will quietly reduce your benefit for the rest of your life unless you catch it and correct it. Errors are more common than most people realize, and the SSA will fix them if you bring documented proof. Third, look into AARP membership if you have not already. At just $15 to $20 a year, it connects you to SSA planning resources, legal help through AARP Foundation, and a network of benefit counselors who can help you navigate exactly the kind of strategies we have talked about today. For most people, the membership pays for itself after a single conversation with one of their advisors. Fourth, use the free benefit calculator at ssa.gov to model your claiming options at different ages before you make any decision. It takes about 10 minutes, it costs nothing, and seeing the actual dollar difference between claiming at 62, 67, and 70, laid out in black and white, is the clearest way to make an informed choice rather than a default one. Fifth, if your income is limited, ask the SSA or your state Medicaid office about the Extra Help program, also called the Low Income Subsidy. Under current federal guidelines, Extra Help covers most or all Medicare prescription drug costs for people who qualify based on income and resources. Millions of Americans are eligible and never apply simply because they did not know the program existed. The Social Security system is complicated by design. The people who get the most out of it are not the ones with the highest incomes or the best connections. They are the ones who knew what questions to ask before they sat down across from an agent. Now you are one of them. Walk in with confidence, ask for what you are owed, and stop leaving your own money on the table.